to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
Hello to good people and to the bad people, friends and enemies. And a good morning, Saturday morning, morning boom, shakalaka to all of you out there. I am Chris Base. This is BaseLine. Congregate every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, and Pacific time, the 5 a.m. over there. We just don't know. Continue to call hogs or saw wood and sleep if you are sleepy, and just catch this when you wake up. And if you wake up past the show, catch on the replay. We love our West Coast people. We don't want them to go through Moida trying to be up this early. So mad love for the West Coast people as well. Of course, you catch me here on Facebook Live. Also, if you are so bold to call in to Free Your Skull, the number's down there on the ticker, 312-597, almost what my own number, 2106. Again, 312-597-2106. Also, people on the YouTubing, make sure that you click below to subscribe to the official Chris Base YouTube channel. And do that as we continue to try to grow, try to build something. I can't do without you. I mean, I can do it, but it just ain't that much fun. So we need numbers, as they say, need analytics, all that type of crap. So I can't do it without you. So hopefully, as you spread the word, when you go tell 5 of your friends and 18 of your enemies that BaseLine will be in the air, that'll work. And Saturday morning greetings to Barbara Jean, the biscuit of cheese. How you doing, Barbara Jean? Thank you for being here on a Saturday morning. That's right. Only one rule. I have to do this show. Only one rule. No peep freaks. No, we don't do things like that. Hold on, let me get sipping this tea here. I felt that one. You know, sometimes you have like a particle in the back of your throat, like if you eat popcorn and it's not completely popped and you have the little kernel, whatever. I didn't have any popcorn, but okay, I had chili. That's what it is. And sometimes the kidney beans will come off, just by cooking. And it has to be it because I'm trying to get rid of this in the back of my throat. So excuse me for trying to get rid of it. But yeah, it's been plaguing me since I since I started the show. Hopefully some hot tea would dissolve that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. How have you been, Base? How you been, Sick Dick? Haven't seen you a little bit. How's everything? And a Merry Christmas in advance to you too as well, Stick. Thank you for saying that. And then same goes to you, brother. I've been doing all right, not too shabby. How are you doing? Let's see, programming notes. CBI was on this past Wednesday. My man Sean Sierra, a gifted sports broadcaster, shared this story with us about his time learning about football, becoming a football coach and a specialist, and his time as a football player at Holy Cross, and what he's doing now with this sports show on the morning. So thank you, my man Sean Sierra, for being on CBI. So Snowman in the Morning had the day off, had to take that day off. We'll return to Snowman in the Morning next Friday, December 15th. And once again, that's local time. Let's see, that's 10:35 a.m. Central when I come on with Enter the Boom Shakalaka. Let's see. So yeah, I'm trying to get some more tea here, so forgive me. Yeah, man. Which is sick. I feel you on that, fam. I've had a few bits of food trapped in my jaw or stuck on my throat. Yeah, let me clear my throat, man. It's sometimes food would like hide in my jowls, not jaws, jowls. I'm like, come on, man. Yeah, I guess it is what it is, as they say. Sick also says, also, I've been good, just glad it's snowing outside. I like snow. I don't like wind chill. Wind chill and me have never been friends. So there you go. But going back to the peep freaks. One rule, no peep freaks. Hashtag PEEPFREAKS. Make my peep a peep freak. We don't care for them. Peep freaks are people who, over the years, I realize they pay taxes just like anybody else. And they do have lives. But when they see me, they faint. And once again, I've learned to accept it. It's okay. When you are the bronze god that I am, that's a natural effect for people to faint because they haven't seen anything like that before. They just, they can't control themselves. Sometimes they lose their bowels. That's a whole different conversation now. I'm not responsible for that. But after they clean themselves off, and I help them back up and dust themselves off and everything else, and sometimes they stick and stay or sticky and stay depending on their situation. But if they stick and stay, that's cool. If they can't, they'll say hello, how you doing, how's your thyroid, and then keep it moving. So again, my thanks to the peep freaks, but we don't really care for them to get too clingy and needy. So, but if you can't stick and stay, say hello and be about your merry way, and all is forgiven. Just that simple, just that easy. Skull. Oh man. Hold on, excuse me one second. Be right back. I gotta take care of something real quick. So let me stop the camera. Okay. All right. Well, what do you say, Sick? Man, Rick got nothing on you. Referring to Rick James. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so I'm glad I have my own show because I get a chance to free my own mind. I mean, I can't just be the only one doing it. You got to be doing it too out there in BaseLine and the Base Nation. So yes, of course, it's Free Your Mind Saturday. So I have another neighbor story, and it deals with their dog Scooby Don't. Now Scooby Don't, it's a hypo mutt. It's like one of those mutts they create in the lab, and it prevents you from not sneezing and things like that. And it's a nice looking hypo mutt, kind of big. And so, like I said, it's created in the lab, so you don't know what you're going to get until you see it. So the hypo mutt, and I said before, my apartment complex, we have a back area that leads out into the parking lot, and so we have a mat. A little, I mean, it's a mat nonetheless, but it's a floor mat. And the Scooby Don't always messes the mat up. The mat is all over the place, and even like the individual welcome mats we have in front of our doors here at the apartment complex are all scattered because the hypo Scooby Doo mutt comes in 90 going north, and it's like good night, and they never put the mat back where it was. You are responsible for your Scooby Don't. You should at least just take the mat and put it back where it was, and not have it all over the place. Because again, the thing is like it's in NASCAR or something. The Scooby Don't, and you would think they'd be the responsible owner since you walk the Scooby Don't and you bring the dog obviously back inside. It has so much traction that it messes up the mats and the welcome mats all over the place in our hallway. You don't have to even. I mean, by right, you should put our mats back, but just the floor mat that's there for general purposes, you can't even put it back. I gotta put it back because I like something neat. I don't like it all over the place. It's like it's all scatterbrained, which it ends up doing, like a hurricane went through. Hurricane Scooby Doo. or Hurricane Hypomut. And I understand people don't have the same standards as me. I don't expect that, but I think that certain things should be common practice. Well, we went over this over years and years ago, my people. If common sense was common, everybody would have it. And unfortunately, they do not. And that's bothersome. 'Cause I get tired of being responsible and got to put the mat back in place. It's not my responsibility. I don't have the Scooby Doo. Let's see. So Sick Tyson, my dad had a cassette tape copy of Rick James Street song, and Super Freak was the first track on side B. Yeah, Super Freak. I was reading. I'm not reading. I saw a documentary about Rick James. They was supposed to be successful. They did something just to add on to the album, and look what happened. Sounds like this dog doesn't get its nails clipped at the dog groomers. Sick, whatever it is, it needs to be taken care of because it's getting on my last one. It's bad enough that the neighbor got sticky fingers and taking people's packages, mine in particular, and now it was again combined with the Scooby Doo. It just adds on, and I don't. And I'm sure I get on their nerves too. I'm not that type of person to say that I don't. I don't. I don't. Well, you could do nothing and still get on a person's nerve. Which again, I just see them when I got packages coming, or delivery, say from Uber Eats or something like that. Other than that, that's about it. But it's like y'all doing too much. You're doing the most. Well, especially taking your neighbor's packages. I mean, come on now. Is there a certain place in hell for that? Thou shalt not put thy sticky fingers on thy neighbor's Amazon packages. Sounds like a commandment to me. Yeah. Let's see. Sounds like this neighbor is a Karen or a Keisha. Let's go with Keisha for 200 Ken Jennings. Yeah, it's a Keisha, yeah. I wouldn't want to say it, but they know who they are. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, so what can I say? All right, here's what's happening in the Israel Hamas war. The United States is facing condemnation after it vetoed a UN Security Council resolution Friday calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The MSF said the U.S. stands alone in casting its vote against humanity. 13 countries voted in the favor. After the vote, the U.S. said the resolution was divorced from reality and would simply leave Hamas in place, able to regroup and repeat the attacks it committed against Israel on October 7th. On the ground in Gaza, an intense Israeli operation continues. One hospital in central Gaza said more than 70 fatalities have arrived in 24 hours. Israel's military is fighting Khan Yunis, which it calls the main stronghold of Hamas. An Israel hostage held in Gaza, 25-year-old Sahab Baruch, has died. Hamas said he was killed in a failed Israeli rescue operation. Israeli military has not commented on the allegation. So again, it's the ongoing thing with this war happening, and there's just no end in sight. We get any updates, we'll let you know during the course of this discourse, but it just doesn't look good, and not at all. See, right? The same thing I just said. It doesn't look good, man. Sick just typed. It doesn't look good at all. So, prayers out to them in that situation. Just never easy. To me, it has. When you talking about killing people and talking about killing women and children, it has barbarian, biblical, like Old Testament type feel to it. which of course, all these holy wars are based on religion. And Yom Kippur, which was based upon this, has been the antithesis and much more behind the scenes that we're not privy to. What's up, Cool McCain? How you doing, man? Thank you for being up this. Well, not thanking you being up this early, but thank you for being up this early. Get my drift. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? How's everything on the Cool McCain side? Cool on the other side of the pillow, McCain. Good stuff. Thank you for being here. Uh, let's see here. Harvard University president apologized as pressure mounted for the University of Pennsylvania president to resign over their testimony at the congressional hearing on the anti Semitism that critics from the White House say uh, failed to demonstrate they would stand up for anti Semitism on campus. In an interview Thursday with the Crimson student newspaper, Harvard President Claudine Gay says she got caught up in a heated exchange at the House committee hearing and failed to properly denounce threats of violence against Jewish students. Meanwhile, lawyers for a major donor to Penn, Ross Stevens, wrote to Penn's general counsel on Thursday to threaten to withdraw a gift value at $100 million because of the university's stance on anti Semitism on campus unless Penn President Liz McGill is replaced. Gay's and McGill's testimony have drawn intense national backlash, have similar responses from the president of MIT, who also testified before the Republican led House Education and Workforce Committee on Tuesday. Donors, alumni, and members of Congress in both parties had called for their resignations. Several critics have pushed colleagues and universities to do more to fight anti Semitism and Islamophobia on campus. An issue was a line of questioning that was asked whether calling for the genocide of Jews would violate the university's code of conduct. At the Tuesday hearing, Gay said it depended on the context, adding that when speech crosses into conduct, that violates our policies. Gay told the Crimson she was sorry, saying that she got caught up in what had become, at that point, an extended combative exchange about policies and procedures. Yeah, what I should have had the presence of mind to do in that moment was return to my guiding truth, which is to call for violence against our Jewish community, threats to our Jewish students have no place at Harvard and will never go unchallenged. Okay, then President Gay, why didn't you say that then? You want to say right back? Hold on one second. Okay. So what we call that backwalking, and not a very good moonwalk is that. Really. I don't get it. Good morning, Lisa London. Good morning, of course, to the Base Nation. Thank you for being here. Good morning, King Base. Rise and shine. Good morning, King Omar. Thank you for being here. It's all going to get a lot worse before it gets any better, sick types. Well, that's usually the proverb that goes along with it. So you had both presidents of these esteemed universities at Harvard and also Penn, and now you want to backwalk it and saying I should have said. No, the question was about genocide of Jews during a committee hearing, and you want to play politics, which is what they did, and gave a generic answer. When you're in college, I believe it's the cradle of education. It's your going to an adult formative years. You're 18, 19, you're on campus or wherever college, university you go to, campus or not, as far as living there is concerned, and your world has changed, like a whole different different world. Remember that was on NBC following Cosby spinoff, a different world, literally. And you would think that you would try to be a better representation for said university. And Claudine Gay, once again, president of Harvard, just didn't look good. She didn't. Her and the president of Penn, they were talking about, once again, in the article I was reading about, removing McGill, President McGill, because of their lack of non-answering the question. Now, mind you, it's a Republican committee, and I don't like Republicans, but they had a point here. How can you not answer a question like that directly? I mean, you can apologize all you want to. You can backwalk it. You can say I'm sorry now, or the classic things we say about you're sorry you got caught. So Liz McGill, and then going into Claudia Gay, respectively, could have answered right then and there, but they did not. Then you wonder what's really going on. And then the thing about it is the following. It's not a question of freedom for some. It should be an answer for freedom for all. So not just the Jewish community, Palestinians, African Americans, everybody. Let's not just pick and choose our battles when it comes to, okay, I just want this group to be protected and the other group not to be protected. All right, everybody should be protected across the board. We're talking about once again college or university. How you doing, Tom Treadwell? My former boss, how you doing? Says, Chris, isn't it amazing how these poison Ivy League colleges are able to keep into the truth once they start losing big donor dollars? How about some common sense? Chris Base for Harvard president. They don't want that, Doc. They don't want that. Thank you for the comment, as always, but they don't want that smoke. No, and I thank you for that. But see, there's no such thing as common sense, because again, we're talking about dollars and cents. Now, dollars and cents, there you go. That's how you do it, Tom. You know that. As once again, money talks and bullshit runs a marathon every day of the week. So, is it possible that Liz McGill, Penn president, could be out of a job? Oh, yes. Especially the donor again. We're about what, $100 million gift. Now, you can easily write that off in taxes, but that's a whole different conversation. $100 million. Yeah, again, this is what you have here. But I would expect more from a university president who obviously is representing the whole university. But the lack of answering that question bothered me. But again, I said before, it should be justice for all. Not everybody buys into that. I mean, silly me. I think it should be, once again, for all people, not just some. So that's where it becomes gray matter. It becomes a sticky wicket. Because your definition of justice for all could be different from mine. So now what do we do? There has to be a way to hopefully meet in the middle for the sake of said university. I mean, you would think so. So yeah, if I was a Penn president, Liz McGill, I watch my back, my front, my sides. I watch all parts at this stage in the game because again, it was a direct question about genocide of Jews, and it kind of like they plead the fifth. I mean, kind of like one of those plead the fifth moments. I would not mention so and so on the grounds of incriminating me. That's it had that feel to him. Like there's no pleading the fifth here. Damn it, answer the question. But again, justice for all. Anything you would type into the program there in the comments section, there in the peanut gallery, please do so. Or always tell you to be so bold, call in at 312-597-2106. Again, 312-597-2106. On Instagram, catch me there. I am the base. And for those of you on YouTube, make sure you click below to subscribe to the official Chris Base YouTube channel. I like saying that. I'm actually proud of it. Well, it took me a long time. I can see here in front. Other pressing things were in front of me at the time, but I finally got a chance to have my own YouTube channel. It's fun. It's nice. And hopefully get a chance to build upon that. So please go to YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. And more importantly, make sure you share. Why? Because sharing is caring. Again, at issue was a line of questioning that asked whether calling for the genocide of Jews would violate the university's code of conduct. At the Tuesday hearing, Gay said it depended on the context, adding that when speech crosses the conduct that violates our policies. Yeah. Okay. Gay told, once again, I'm just repeating this, Ray told the Crimson she was sorry, saying that she got caught up in what had at the point to be extended combative exchange about policies and procedures. So when I read the part about got caught, are you sorry for what you said, or are you sorry you got caught in what you should have said? Yes, because you wouldn't be backwalking it. You wouldn't be backwalking it. Not at all. Not at all. Good morning to my brother in broadcasting. Vincent, what's up, Vincent? How you doing, brother? Good morning to you. Thank you for being here, my brother. Yeah, when I was at WVON at one point, I've been there in many incarnations, and I was at this point where I was working with this guy, and I won't get into that. But I met Vince at the time. We were back on this. Well, I ain't a part of we anymore. I've been banned from WVON, so I can't say we. I guess my time there, I was working with this guy doing a brokerage show called The Stoop, and this is the station was back on 33 on Kedzie. I got a chance to meet Vincent, just a stand-up guy, very talented, a great broadcaster in his own right. Does a great music show, and it's the cool thing about any profession. Well, in our situation, radio, is that you meet cool people outside of the building. It's like you want to go have a beer with them or break bread with them. Even though never got a chance to do that with Vincent. I mean, I would love to because once again, just a solid brother and a real radio guy. Now, let me start with real radio people. Yeah, I don't want that to dominate the show, but well, hell, it's my show anyway. But you know, I don't want to digress too much. I was told from day one, begin the radio, a lot of assholes in this business. That was a direct quote. In fact, a guy named Kevin Matthews, who held down a great show on the Loop AM 1000. I was one of Kevin's first Kev heads. He came into the market and watched him work from day one. So I had a class at Columbia College Chicago called Interview with a DJ by the great Terry Hemmert, one of the first female morning hosts here in Chicago at WXRT. She's held down various shifts. She has since retired. And also a colleague of mine when I went back to Columbia to teach. Terry Hemmert's the best. So when I was a student and she was an instructor, I took in the spring semester of 1988. And at the end, we had to interview a Chicago disc jockey. I interviewed Kevin Matthews of the Loop AM 1000. Went to the Loop. He did a Saturday midday show. I got there at 9. It was on at 10 o'clock. I got a chance to meet him, his producer, Shemp, and watched him do his thing. It was just amazing to watch him do the show. Excuse me, just great stuff. Just a talented person. He was the one that told me off the bat that there'll be a lot of assholes you'll meet in this business. He was right. If anybody called it right off the bat, was him. He really did. So years later, when I had my own show on UBM, Urban Broadcast Media, online, Kevin was actually in the comment section like you guys are in now. And I asked him to call up the show, and I had him on for a while, and I thanked him for being inspiration to me. I was inspired by a lot of people, more so Ty Wansley and Jay Marvin, God rest their souls. I do them personally and had worked with them personally. But just people in the market at the time were just, to me, just lights out different. So Kevin did call in, and I hate the fact that we never got a chance to do it because unfortunately UBM is not around anymore. But man, what we were trying to do was to have a celebrity pool tournament between Kevin and me, and the proceeds would be raised for various charities. Never got a chance to do that. I wanted to do that so bad because I love pool, and of course, love giving back to the community. So I'm sorry we get a chance to do that, but again, you just never know who's out there checking you out. You never know. As the honor, you honor me, sir. Name the time and place. We got to make that happen. I gotta write it down. Now I forget because being old man based these days, I forget. If I don't write it down, man, I'm telling you. Or at least put it to my phone. Very true. Got some advice from the great Dick Biondi. That's right. On top of a pizza. The great WLS disc jockey from WLS. I'm telling you, AM Dick Biondi. So again, we learn from these people if we allow ourselves to, and go from there. But the people who I've met over time make you want to lose your religion, let alone your lunch. And don't get me wrong, when you sit down and talk to a person, let's once again stick with radio, you know who they are, you know who the real deal is, and you know, excuse me, who they know and who they, well, you know the old adage, who you know and who you blow. So a lot of blowing going on during that time. You sit down and have a conversation with a person, you know how they operate, you know that they're the real deal because they love what they do. They love radio. It's something that you can't put a price tag on, but maybe you can. But for me, there's no price tag for it. The love I have for it still goes back when I was 6 years old in my room listening to radio, and just all these imaginations in my cranium would just go and swim and do God knows what. But that led me into radio. At the same time, I was once asked in an interview, I was once asked, how do you describe being in radio? And to me, the answer was the following: it's both blessing and curse. That's how I describe it. When everything is going great, is running on all cylinders, is one of the most purest things in the world. When you're so in politics and people who are just pure evil, yeah, that's when it gets dicey at. Speaking of playing pool, Jeffrey, Breakout Lucille, Philip Banks, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Look, man, I love playing pool. I haven't played pool in a while, but it's always been my safe haven, relaxing, trying to get better at it over time. Played a lot when I was in high school and college, and it was just fun. Get your own cue stick. I remember I got my own cue stick where this place I used to work at, right around the corner from my house, in fact, became my first job. It was kind of like a general store. They had toys, furniture, records, and like a little bit of everything. And I remember before I worked there, they had the pool cue in the display window of the establishment, complete with case. It was an old fashioned square off case and with a handle on it. And so I got that. That was my first pool cue, and I named it Excalibur. So me and my friends, Ken and James, will go out and play and just have a good time. Yeah, I had Excalibur, man. You couldn't tell me nothing, man. I was bad. And working on your game is fun because where we went to is a place called Ross's. It was like in Chicago on the South Side in Bronzeville, where I currently reside. Where was it? It was like Wabash, and I can't think of the address offhand. We would go to all the time. And now it's not there anymore. But this old guy named Ross owned the place, and it was a good old fashioned pool hall. Nothing fancy, just a jukebox and tables. That was it. And so go there, play all the time, well, with the guys or by myself to work on my game. And it was fun, just a lot of fun. And he was a cat man. He had like 17 cats in the back. I love cats too, but I don't like them that like that. Yeah, like damn near 17 cats. And they were all manageable. They didn't come and, fuck with you when you were trying to do your thing. But yeah, that was cool. It was a good time. Let's see. Hitting those pool halls on the weekends was a joy of my youth. Joy, especially my youth. Oh, my youth, man. Look, that was what we did. That was part of our life back then. Fact, if Chris Base can unite listeners of White Like Snow, WLS, and Black Talk Station, WVON, he absolutely can unite wearing factions on campus. Chris Base for next president of Harvard. Well, again, Tom, thank you for that. But you and I both know that that I refuse going to hear something like that. But kind words I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Sick. It's been years since I've been to a pool hall. Same here. Same. I got like 3 or 4 cues now, and I don't really use them a lot. But I would love to find a place. It used to be a place that I could probably at the time, get a Uber or Lyft and go to, but they closed it down. So as far as like locally, I have to find another place. But yeah, it's kind of hard to go by because nowadays I'll probably have to go out of my neighborhood area and see what happens. But I don't know. We'll see. So movies like The Hustler, Paul Newman, and stuff like that. Yeah. The Color of Money. I told you The Color of Money. The Color of Money was filmed here in Chicago, and my dad and myself were extras in the movie. So if you ever watched the movie, there's a scene where at the 9-ball tournament, and that was filmed here as well. That was filmed at a place called Navy Pier. And so we were told to dress up. My dad and I had on suits. And so we were about the third row where Paul Newman and Tom Cruise were doing their scene and they were facing each other in the 9-ball tournament. So we're doing this. So we're doing the scene. We're watching the scene, and then they took a break. So it was Scorsese, Paul Newman, and Tom Cruise. I did not know that Paul Newman was short, and it wasn't offense to him. God rest his soul. I always thought he was a tall man. He's probably 5'7". I just thought he was taller. Really, it was a culture shock to me. I watched the man all my life on television and movies and everything else. I thought he was at least about 6'1", but the camera angles and the magic of of the movies. No, he was about 5'7", and Cruise, of course, is a shorty, so he's about 5'5", 5'6", whatever. And so, what happened Well, the average actor's height in Hollywood is 5'7" anyway, so they're right there at the cusp. So what happened was they were filming some trick shots or filming some angles for the next scene, and one of the consultants of the pool shots would say, "Hey, you kid, come here a second. You know how to play pool?" I said, "Yeah." So I took off my suit jacket, and I had a three-piece suit on. I took off the suit jacket. He said, "Do me a favor, hit this shot here." So he placed the balls there, and I hit it. And he said, "Do that again." So he placed them again. I did it again. Do that again. Okay, so I did it again. Do it one more time, for real. Did it again. So then I'll be right back. So then he comes back about 15 minutes later, and there's another guy with him. He said, "Is that your father over there?" He said, "Yeah." Could he come down here? So they introduced themselves to us and told us the following: we're supposed to have two more actors come in here from New Jersey, but they're snowed in. We got to do this scene like right now. So we just, we're on a timetable. So is it all right for your son to be in this scene, this movie? And my dad was like, "Yeah, well, what's the process we got to go through?" So it's going to be a quick process because once again on the timetable, I was going to do the scene with Tom Cruise and another opponent. And I only had like 3 or 4 lines, but he needed somebody believable to make the shots, which is where I came in at. So we'll see, we were given information for them to contact William Morris, the agency out of New York, to get me on board quick and then sign me up. And then I'll do the scene with Tom because everything had to be through proper channels. So I'm looking at the papers with Dad. Dad says it's going to be great. Yeah, boy, going to do it's going to be fantastic. We get a phone call. Let's see, it's a 2-day process. So the second day, we had a phone call saying the guys took a red eye, was able to come through the snow and blizzard, and they're there. So they apologized. Man, that hurt my heart. Now, to their credit, they did send me a check. Not a big fat check, but a check nonetheless. It was like $5,000, something like that. But still, I was still hurt. I get a chance to get my probably at 17, my first somewhat movie role. Certain things it's hard to go back and and relive because it still stings. I'm an old man now. That hurt my heart. That hurt my soul. I'm like, oh, don't say that. Oh, don't tell me that. But things happen for a reason. It's out of the spell of your control. But just the fact that that was in motion, looking back at it, it was still a heartbreaker nonetheless. But there you go. I could have had a scene with Tom Cruise in The Color of Money, man. Yep, still hurts. What can I say? Holiday season is upon us. It's in the air. It's all over the place. See, as we approach the holiday season, I'll let you know when the annual Chris Base Salt Bastard Holiday Party will be in effect. And that's when you gather around Santa Base Claus, or good old Uncle Base, and I'll tell you stories again from my youth. And even when I got older, of the holiday season, and you get a chance to come on board and share stories as well. You bring your favorite drink, your favorite eats, libations of the like, and everything else, or non-libations. So there you go. So I'll give you an update on that coming up, of course. That'll be on a Saturday. So we won't do BaseLine that Saturday. We'll do the Salt Bastard Holiday Party instead. That'll be later on at 6 o'clock. So I'll let you know when that happens. Let's see. The explosive fourth Republican presidential debate Wednesday night made plain why former President Donald Trump has so far skipped the 2024 primary debate circuit. The 4 contenders on stage: former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former governor of New Jersey Chris Christie, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy spent most of the 2-hour debate hammering each other, overshadowing efforts to focus attention on the frontrunner in the race. With the smallest debate field so far, with the Iowa caucuses less than 6 weeks away, the candidates were better able to showcase their policies, beliefs, and explore major differences, but they followed the pattern of previous debates with a series of memorable personal shots. Ramaswamy referred to Haley as lipstick on a Dick Cheney. Christie mocked Ramaswamy's smart-ass mouth. DeSantis and Haley caves every time the left comes after her. Haley has shot back, "I love the attention, fellas. Thanks for that." What the clash in Alabama, hosted by News Nation, made plain is that all the candidates on stage believe they must first be seen as a GOP's lone alternative to the former president before making a more focused case against him. However, it also underscored why Trump has not paid a price in the polls for skipping the debates. They were attacks on the former president, Christie, whose campaign is built on antitrust Trump message, made a sustained case against his return to power, while Haley criticized his approach to China, and DeSantis said Trump hasn't fulfilled his pledge to drain the swamp and Mexico paid for a border wall. But those moments were exceptions in a debate dominated by clashes between the candidates who were actually there. First of all, I didn't even see it. I don't watch News Nation, so I didn't even see any type of advertisement for it on cable at all. It's like obviously a cable station. The others I've seen because I've seen the advertisement for it, but I did not see anything pertaining to that. Now, CNN next week will have town hall debates with Ron DeSantis and Ramaswamy back to back. I believe it's next Tuesday and Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So, see, again, I've seen those advertisements, but for News Nation and all. So, again, are these debates really necessary? Because again, like I said, they've made their mark. They look from the first debate when they said if Donald Trump is the main front runner for your party, will you support him? And they all raised their finger. That's when, of course, Tim Scott and the rest of them were still there. Chris Christie had the half a church finger, and then Asa Hutchinson was the first one to say, "Look, I'm not support this man." And ever since that first one, Asa Hutchinson was out completely. Whether it was by non-contribution to his campaign or not. After that, that was about it. And I think a lot of these people out there, again, are just auditioning for a possible cabinet slot, God forbid, if Trump wins again. Are these people running for president of the United States or that of a high school? This is a bad soap opera. Well, it is. It really is. They're not talking the issue. They pretend to go over the issue, but the attacking is what their leader does. That's what Trump does. They want to be just different versions of Trump. That's all it is. When you break it down for what it is, all they want to be is Trump light. I think Ramaswamy is trying to become Trump's running mate. That's why I think it is, really. They're all auditioning at this stage in the game. Even though some articles have said that Nikki Haley seems to be the strongest out of the bunch right now to be the front runner for the Republican Party, I won't believe it till I see it. And then again, once again, going back to Trump, it's like, I don't even have to show up. He don't have to show up because he's still leading in the polls by distant numbers up against his contemporaries. Hey. But the name calling and everything else, yeah, that goes back to Trump. That's exactly what he does. I talked about West Coast people earlier. One of my West Coast brothers in broadcasting, Damian D. Minor. Good morning. He says, "Good morning from San Francisco. How you doing?" Yeah, good morning to you, man. What is it? 5:57 a.m. out there. You up early? Well, thank you for being here, brother. How you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. Ah, yeah, man. So it was interesting. I've been seeing Liz Cheney on the talk show circuits and on cable when it comes out to say CNN and MSNBC. So her book, Oath and Honor, a memoir and a warning. I was trying to get it on Amazon. It's temporarily out of order. It's temporarily out from getting it. So, man, good for her. Because usually, well, I'll do like most people do on Amazon. Either you get it or you save it for later. I was going to save it for later, but I can't because I have to wait to get back in stock with it. And of course, she's been anti-Trump when this happened. But well, the question I have to ask certain people: did the conservative right give birth to a Donald Trump? And what I mean by that is, what I mean by that, from working at my time at WLS, and of course, the audience is white conservative males, which is, of course, like your target audience. But the mean spiritedness that certain hosts would do on radio that I listened to firsthand, I think was unnecessary. But that was part of their shtick, or that was who they were. They were just mean spirited. It didn't count for the whole party, mind you, but the ones who did it, I believe, gave the party a black eye. And the ones who got on board to say that's how you're supposed to operate, I had issue with that too. You can intelligently give your point of view without being nasty. And that's what some people did. Not all, but some. And the ones that would do that, I just felt that it was that's nasty, but people copy what they see and go from there. Yes, sir. It's been a minute, good sir. Yeah, it's early. Thanks for this conversation. Well, thank you for being here to be a part of the conversation. My man, Damian D. Minor, thank you. And a good morning to the chef. Good morning, Enova Ingram. Good morning, Chris and Base Nation. Of course, Enova and her brother Mark are the official cooks, chefs for BaseLine. Because what Enova does is she'll type in the breakfast that we're supposed to have, or imagine we can have. Ooh. So there you go. What can I say? And once again, the Ingrams eat. Now, certain people just, I don't know, pop something in the microwave and go for broke. They cook, which is why I'm very honored they're official chefs for the program for BaseLine, because they know how to get down, doctor. You gain weight by actually reading the menu. You don't have to taste any food at all. You don't have to. I guarantee. Ooh, we just got word from Pastor Dominic Price, who will not be with us today. He will be with us next week. It's all good, Pastor. Hope everything is well, and I continue to be safe and sound. And we'll see you here on BaseLine next Saturday morning. So, of course, it's still you and me. Obviously, please, want to participate, you know what's there. Don't just sit there, just look at me talk. It ain't good for you. It's not healthy. So when you have time, look at the bottom of the screen. The call-in number is 312 312-597-2106. Again, 312-597-2106 on Instagram. I am the Base. And for those of you on YouTube and YouTubing, don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Chris Base YouTube channel, Chris Base channel. Make sure you do that. All right, here is the menu. Scrambled eggs with cheese and orange peppers, hash browns and pork sausage links, and homemade butter biscuits. Buttermilk biscuits. Okay, see, again, gaining weight as I speak it. Scrambled eggs with cheese and orange peppers, hash browns, and pork sausage links, and homemade buttermilk biscuits. There you go. And I got 4 hearts after that. Yeah, 4 hearts. Gotta give yourself the Heimlich. If you're not careful, man, I'll tell you. That is a hearty breakfast right there. Ooh wee. Good stuff, good stuff. And again, what's on your mind? Don't just sit there once again watch. Look, let me tell you something. And I'm gonna scold you for a little bit, people. I understand. This is what I do. I understand that you coming here and being a part of what we're trying to do here is great. It's at the same time, even though I'm your fearless leader, it's also an ensemble. It's also a part of listening to you, not just sitting here listening to the ramblings of an old man. And I know certain people don't want to call in. That's fine. But again, the reason why I established a number was to hear you. I can't make it more plain than that. And I want to say I'm dry begging right now. I'm just making a point. Because, yes, I understand the technology we're living in, the time we're living in, but it's still, in my mind, very righteous, very cool to hear the person's thoughts of what they are saying, not just typing. And now, don't be wrong, if you're positioned not to call in and you're busy or there's other fraction in your life you don't want to call in, that is fine. But at the same time, to sit here and watch me just pontificate and once again rambling on and on to the break of dawn, I would think would get very tiring to a degree. And what's wrong with hearing your voice besides mine? If we can incorporate both, we got something. It's me talking to you. I'm not a fan of just it being one-dimensional, which is the reason why I had the number here in the first place. And so, again, when you just sit there and just watch me, once again, mad rambling, that's one way. But another way is for you to call in. And instead of me reading all the time in the comment section, why don't you give it a shot to call in with your own thoughts and your own ideas instead of me reading them? That's all. The number again is 312-597-2106. That's the number. 312-597-2106. That's all. Just an incorporation of ideas. Let's go out to the phones. What was I going to thank you for responding? All right, good morning. You're on BaseLine. Who's this?
Good morning. This is D. Curtis Randall.
Hey, what's up, D. Curtis? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Man, good to hear from you. Look, well, weren't you out recently with watching the time and Sheila E?
I did. I was there with Sheila E. and Morris Day and the Time.
Now, what that was at the Horseshoe Casino, right?
Yes, that's correct.
How was it?
Oh my God, Well, first, Sheila E. At 66 years old, she'll be 66 in 3 days. Black don't crack at all. She was fabulous, and she gave an outstanding performance. Matter of fact, she went out into the audience and did a number right in front, literally within arm distance of my wife.
Oh man, how's your wife doing? How's Kimberly doing?
Kimberly is doing absolutely great. Kimberly is now cancer free, thank God.
I'll take. I'm sorry, I didn't know she had cancer. My bad. When was she diagnosed with cancer, sir?
She was diagnosed in May, and we went through a regimen of chemotherapy, surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation treatment.
Well, that is great too. That is, I know the both of you are through the moon and back. Yeah, because I can't stand cancer. As they say, fuck cancer. I hate cancer. It is a plague in our society, a disease that would never go away. We try to combat it. So I know you and Kimberly are happy. So congratulations, man.
Yes,
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's great news.
And it's funny, Base, that you can send a man to the moon. You can do pretty much anything you want to do, but you can't eradicate this.
Well, don't get my conspiracy theory hat on. I'll put my aluminum foil tin hat and go with the best when it comes to that, because you are right. With all the technology and advances in sciences and medicines that we have, you still can't fight cancer. That's a whole different conversation, but you are right. And that's amazing to me. But I know you are happy. And again, you and your lovely wife out there enjoying Sheila E. and The Time. Now, okay, let me ask you this.
Oh, yeah.
So when you was watching The Time, did you get the real Jerome or young Jerome?
You did not get Jerome at all.
Oh, come on, man.
Well, you had somebody that played Jerome, but he was. It's funny that the Time, the only two original members of The Time was Morris Day and Jelly Bean Johnson, the drummer. That was it. Everybody else was pretty much I was looking for Jesse Johnson.
Right.
I was Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. I thought I was going to get the Time. I didn't get The Time.
No, you didn't.
No. And it's funny. I looked at Morris Day, and I was real close to him where I could see him.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I said, when did Al Greer get on stage?
Well, yes, they do dress similarly, right? I can see that.
I mean, the looks were like similar. I'm like, wow, okay.
I know, right? Yeah, I don't know who bit off of who at this point. Real quick, let's go out to the peanut gallery. Edward says she loves Sheila E. Right? Who doesn't? And also says blessings to you, D. Curtis. Again, going back to your wife Kimberly beating cancer. So that's great. Once again, fantastic news.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's something that this holiday season brings a lot of joy, and also brings a lot of disgust.
Yes.
With what's going on in the world, what's going on in our city, what's going on in our nation. I'm just waiting for, hopefully in 2024, that people get their act together. Congress do something to make it so they can help people instead of hurt people. I'm hoping that Agent Orange goes to jail for a mighty long time for what he's responsible for. I doubt that that's going to happen.
Well, you're right. Now, I doubt it too. I mean, as my dear departed dad used to say, when a person show you their ass, that's who they are. And so we've seen the orange ass of Trump. We've seen a lot of asses in the House of Representatives, and that's who they are. And they're not going to turn back. They're not going to do anything right. This is how they operate. I mean, you go back to the House, we had someone like Matt Gaetz wanting to start a revelation, quote unquote, in the House because he can, and he has the hateful eight combined with him at the House of Representatives, to the point where Kevin McCarthy is leaving. He
Yeah.
he stepped. Look, not only did they use, like, remember that song by what's my man's name? Use Me Till You Use Me Up.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Bill Withers.
Bill
Well,
Withers. Right.
using me
Thank you.
to
Right. Right. They used him, turned him every which way but loose. Lost in turnout, became a $2 hole for the Hateful Eight, and to the point
Yeah.
where he's used up. So he got to go. So when a person show you who they are, believe it, that's how they operate. But
Yes, sir.
it's amazing. So I don't expect them to do right. I think individually we have to find a way to improve ourselves and better ourselves as a person or people, depending on who you operate with, and hopefully we can grow from within. We can't expect people
Yeah.
to save us. We have to save ourselves, and that's where it gets into what are you prepared to do in that situation. Going back to you checking out Sheila E. in the Time last night. There, I went about a couple of years ago. My good friends Ken, Claire, and Leah had asked me to come on board, and we went to the same venue, and so Sheila E. was just great. It was the Prince tour that they were doing,
Yeah.
and it was great to see Sheila E. Once again. She hasn't missed a step of anything. She got better. While I'm watching the Time, we got like an 18-year-old Jerome. I'm like, wait a minute, that ain't Jerome, man. That dude just got out. He's not even in college yet. So we got like an 18-year-old Jerome. I'm like, okay, I guess you changed members of the band, but someone like Jerome is so pivotal to the Time folklore. You can't replace that dude. I'm sorry. I would have just preferred him not being there, or not the 18-year-old. That's why I asked you to get the real Jerome or the young Jerome. This dude had fresh legs and was moving around and going like 90 going north.
Yeah. Funny story. There was one time when I was in a conference in Las Vegas.
Mm.
I was having dinner with friends, and we went to Bally's. And this comedian who got up there and was doing an act, he was basically the lead-in for Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, okay.
He picked some people out in the audience, and he picked me. He said, you, sir, come here. He wanted me to come on stage. So I'm, on the stage of Bally's in Las Vegas. He takes me behind in the back and said, you know what? I want to do Morris Day in a Time. I'll be Morris D and you be Jerome and you hold the mirror and we do the bird. And we did that. I did that on the stage of Bally's in Las Vegas. So I can add to my resume on my bucket list that I performed on a Las Vegas stage.
I know, right? That's cool, man. Especially being Jerome, man. You like the sidekicks of all sidekicks.
The sidekick of all. I mean, I'm like the Ed McMahon to Johnny Carson.
Right, I know, right? Well, the cool thing about back in the day when we saw Purple Rain for the first time, the movie, and like all of our heroes came to life on screen. So we had videos, we had their albums, obviously, but to watch them interact was, like, to me, was the dream. So to see Prince, of course, to see the Time, and they changed, of course, to Apollonia 6, the group, because based on Vanity, they didn't want to do the act anymore. But it was just cool just to see all these people in some form of production. And so after Prince gets up there and embarrasses himself with the whole Darling Nikki thing, and there's a Jerome in the doorway. Fuck what he did back there. Morris don't like it. I don't like it either. To me, like, who cares? But it was so funny to me to see them interact like that. So, oh man, just it's great memories, man. So I'm glad you had a good time out there. Fantastic.
Yeah, it really was great. And the fun thing about the Time, I had to educate my wife about Morris Day in the Time. Now, Morris Day was not the original lead singer of the Time. Morris Day was the drummer.
That's right.
The original was Alexander O'Neal.
That's right. Oh, Alexander O'Neal was bad.
Yeah.
That dude was bad. I had that Hearsay cassette, and every night back in the day when you had cassettes, when you played it so much, the print came off the cassette. It was like an all white cassette. Then you had to know by memory because all the other songs that was numerized were gone now, were erased because you had that fingerprint on there. It got rid of all that ink. So yeah, it became like the White Album for me.
Right. Exactly. So when Prince fired Alexander O'Neal and he needed a new lead singer, he brought in Morris Day.
That's right.
Therefore, the rest is history. But Alexander, he didn't do too bad. Matter of fact, I think he's finally retiring from the stage.
Correct.
He did some tours out there in England. That's pretty much it. But every year at Christmas time, I listen to Alexander O'Neal's Christmas album and just wonder if they ever had some secret tapes of him leading the time. I would have loved to have heard it.
Same here. I mean, you're right. And I read an article that the reason why Alexander O'Neal left was because he talked about money. And all of a sudden, you know, sometimes you talk about money with person or the person, it falls on deaf ears and get into an argument, whatever. So he left, and he had every right to ask about what he's going to get paid with or how to get paid, whatever. And so all of a sudden that happens, unfortunately. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Morris Day was the drummer, and it was called Flight Time, as a matter of fact. And that's when Alexander O'Neal was the front man, correct?
Yeah. But I'm glad that Morris is getting his due. He was honored by VH1, and I think it was the Soul Train Awards that he got recognized.
Yes,
and it is a good thing. He's had a great career,
Well, let me tell you this before we part. First of all, thank you for calling in, and I appreciate it more than you know. I want to give everybody let everybody know this man I worked with back at UBM, Urban Broadcast Media, one of the finer gentlemen. I got a chance to work with somebody I trusted, and it's not too many people can trust when you're working in a business environment. And I trusted him with everything, and I love you for that. I love you. I love your wife. It was great time working together, and the great times that we had, I never forget. Because my man over here, as a matter of fact, just to share the story, when I became operations manager at Urban Broadcast Media and overlooking the three streams we had, UBM Talk, UBM Music, and UBM Praise, I wanted it to build lineups on all three. And I remember listening to your show, the Curtis Randall show, and I figured, okay, we can put that into the morning slot and then go from there, which was met with pushback. But to me, it was a fight that I didn't mind fighting because, again, you're going to put the good controls of me programming. We need slots of different shows per streaming. So to me, it just made all the sense in the world. But I'm always glad that you got a chance to do what you do, showcase, go on and have some great times. Your show has won awards and things of that nature. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate every moment of our time at UBM together.
Well, the D. Curtis Randall Show would not be the show that it is without your leadership at UBM and your inspiration of getting me out there. I'm like, you want me to do a morning show? You want me to get up at 5 a.m. and come and do it? And I did it with no questions asked and had fun doing it. But you, in theory, taught me basically I had to learn how to run my board. And I never did. I was a jock, and I always had an engineer. But we didn't want to pay nobody money to come in at 5 a.m. and run a board. So I had to learn. And I say, look, give me about 2-3 days in the basement. Let me learn it, and I'll be ready. And sure enough, that following year came by, and we hit the air, and we never looked back. Right now, we're about ready to wrap on our 14th season. 14th season.
Man, congratulations.
Which is a lot. I don't know how many more I got left in me, but we'll see how it goes.
Man, keep riding till the wheels fall off, doctor. That's all you could do.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Chris, it was great talking to you. Thank you so much for your friendship, and wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and the best in 2024.
And the same to you and yours, if not more. Thank you so much, D. Curtis Randall. Thank you. I love you, brother. You take care.
Thank you, sir.
D. Curtis Randall. And again, like my time at Urban Broadcast Media, you could count the number on your fingers the people you can really trust and have your back, because everybody wants to put a knife in there, but not him and a few others. I really had a great cabal of people that I know I can go to. And when you put in management, you need people like that, especially. So, yeah, thank you, D. Curtis, for everything you've done. Congratulations on your success of your program. I see this young lady in the wild, Janine. How you doing, Janine? Good morning to you. How you doing? Thank you for being here. Yeah, I want to see you. How you doing, Janine? Thank you. Ooh. Let's see. So we lost Norman Lear, writer, producer, developer who revolutionized American comedy with such daring, immensely popular early 70s sitcoms as All in the Family and Sanford and Son. Died on Tuesday. He was 101 years old. Lear's publicist confirmed to Variety that he died at his home in Los Angeles of natural causes. A private service for immediate family will be held in the coming days. Thank you for the moving outpouring of love and support in honor of our wonderful husband, father, and grandfather, Lear's family said in a statement. Norman lived a life of creativity, tenacity, and empathy. He deeply loved our country and spent a lifetime helping to preserve its founding ideals and justice with equality for all. Knowing and loving him has to be the greatest gifts. We ask for your understanding as we mourn privately in celebration of this remarkable human being. Lear had already established himself as a top comedy writer in capturing a 1968 Oscar nomination for his screenplay of Divorce American Style, which he concocted the idea of a new sitcom based on a British popular show at the time about a conservative, outspokenly bigoted working class man and his fractured Queens family. All in the Family became the immediate hit, seemingly with all viewers' political persuasions. Lear's show were the first to address the serious political culture and the social flashpoints of the day: racism, abortion, homosexuality, the Vietnam War, by working pointed new wrinkles into the standard domestic comedy formula. No subject was taboo. Two 1977 episodes of All in the Family revolved around the attempted rape of lead character Archie Bunker's wife Edith. I'm sorry. Their fresh outrages turned them into huge rating successes for a time. Family on the Family in Sanford was based around an LA black family ranked number one and number two in the country. On the Family itself accounted for no less than 6 spinoffs. On the Family also honored with 4 Emmys in 1971, 1973 for giving us comedy with a social conscience. He received a second Peabody in 2016 for his career achievements. Some of Lear's other creations played with TV conventions. One Day at a Time from 1975, 1984 featured a single mother raising 2 young girls and a protagonist new concept for a sitcom. Similarly, Different Strokes from 1978 to 1986 followed the growing pains of 2 black kids adopted by a wealthy white businessman. Of course, he goes on to do Mary Hartman from 1976 to 77, spoof the drama of daytime soap operas. While the show couldn't find a network slot, it was a beloved off-the-wall entry into syndication. Hartman had its own oddball spinoff called Fernwood Tonight, a parody talk show set in small Iowa town, and then it was later retooled as America Tonight, with setting relocated in Los Angeles. That was Martin Mull in that one. Let's see. It was awesome television programming during that time, Annabelle types. No, you're right. You're absolutely correct. And so also what's interesting was during this time you had the black sitcoms, let's say Good Times. Now, Good Times, as we all know, was created by Eric Monty. And Eric Monty and Michael Evans, the same Michael Evans who played the original Lionel on Good Times before they was on All in the Family, because they were next door neighbors. The Jeffersons were, and they spun off into their own TV show. But Michael Evans and Eric Monty met in writing school. That's how they met, and they were the ones that conceived Good Times. So there was always these articles saying that, and I'm not to wish ill on the dead. No offense to Norman Lear, but a lot of people have realized he really didn't do right by Eric Monty. That he never got the recognition that he should have had. So Eric Monty, of course, was the creator and writer for the screenplay Cooley High. Eric Monty also created What's Happening, the TV series. A brilliant writer, changed the game. When I go back and watch, say, Cooley High and say What's Happening Now, because What's Happening Now was based on Cooley High, and I see the character of Preach in Cooley High and Raj in What's Happening and What's Happening Now, I think that was the creation, obviously, of Eric Monty as himself. I don't think it was a coincidence that all those characters both wore horn-rimmed glasses, the black horn-rimmed glasses that Eric Monty was sporting at the time. So he was able, I think, to put himself, obviously, in these characters. Yeah, so, I mean, Eric should have gotten the position of his creativity that he should have received financially and publicly, but things like that. And once again, I wasn't there, but it was no big secret that a lot of the stuff that we have done over the years have been taken and not given the correct accolades and payment for our contributions. So, for example, let's look at what Norman Lear did. So his successes were based upon British shows. All in the Family was a British show called Till Death Do Us Part. We always see it in the end credits. Sanford and Son was based on an old show called Steptoe and Son. Let's go to the phones here on BaseLine. Let's say good morning to Chef Anova Ingram. Good morning, Anova. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Doing okay. I think that, as a growing up in the 70s, which seems like ancient times when you talk to the young people today.
Mm-hmm.
My brother and I, we grew up in the 70s. And you know what? I like the 70s. I like the 70s. I like the 80s. And, but the 70s, they really had a different type of programming. Starting with Sesame Street, starting with a lot of good shows. There are a lot of family shows. A lot of shows now that we see on Meet TV now.
Mm-hmm.
It's my parents used to watch on The Family, and everybody knew how Archie Bunker was. There was no mystery,
right?
Of his character and everything. But I think what really came real for me was my parents would drink Mogan David for the holiday, Mogan David wine.
Right.
And then I forgot what episode it was. I don't know the specific number or anything, but I remember it was a holiday scene. And Archie Bunker came home and said, Edith, I got the good stuff. I got the Mogan David wine. I was like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, they drink Mogan David wine too, so you know it had to be something special. It had to be something special.
Right.
I like the earlier shows. They did a spinoff from Archie Bunker. They did Archie's Place.
Yes.
It was all right to me. I didn't watch almost all the episodes because things had changed after Edith had passed.
Correct.
And that's one thing about sitcoms. They dealt with a lot of issues, like you said, a lot of issues. And I just remember just the different people that Archie used to interact with. And I remember that when Sammy Davis Jr. had guest
Yes.
I love that episode. I love it. Because Archie, it was shocking because, he wound up kissing Archie on the cheek.
Right.
And Archie was like, what? He just, like, I love you, brother. I love you.
Yes.
It's wow. It was just so different. And I didn't realize until I was watching, like, Maude, and when I was watching Good Times, that everybody was kind of, it was intertwined, interrelated, and the Jeffersons and everything. Oh my goodness. It was, it was a certain time. And, it was just a certain time. And, people trip now because of how things are going, But at that time, we watched TV, and we watched the programming, You had the Brady Bunch, you had the Partridge Family, and you had a lot of different TV shows. I think TV at that time was still expanding.
Yes.
Still expanding, still growing in different aspects, Did it have issues? Yeah, what doesn't have issues?
Right.
But it was how the programming was at that time. There are a lot of shows that I'm like, wow, yeah, I remember that show. I remember the show, I don't know if you remember Family. Family used to come on channel ABC. ABC had a lot of programming.
Oh, they did. I remember that show, yes.
Yeah, ABC with Christy Nichols. I'm like, what happened to her? And it had a lot of different shows on TV. I mean, you keep hearing about MASH. I mean, MASH was a good show at that time. I don't know if people can get into it now, but MASH had a long run. You had a lot of shows, I think, and they had sitcoms too and everything, but it just, I don't know. I think every decade, like the 70s had what they had, the 80s had what they had, and the 90s had what they had.
Right.
It gets blurry when it gets 2000.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, going back, you said about, say, On the Family. For me as a kid watching in real time, I couldn't watch it because I hated Archie Bunker. I hated his guts. But when I got older and I knew where the character was coming from, I appreciated him more.
Right.
Very misguided, ignorant in a lot of areas, but had a heart of gold. So I remember, again, going back to watching, say, Archie Bunker. First of all, Carol O'Connor, the role was supposed to go to Jackie Gleason. They offered Jackie Gleason the role of Archie Bunker. We said, no, I've done my time. Let somebody new come along and make their mark. So it was supposed to be Archie Bunker supposed to be played by Jackie Gleason. So we're the better from it. And so look what happened after that. So then you watch him in the role, and there were parts like the episode when he had to give the eulogy at Stretch Cunningham's funeral. And he didn't know Stretch Cunningham was Jewish. And so that was hilarious. His fellow cab driver didn't know he was Jewish. The episode also stands out to me not only when it went on about Sammy Davis Jr., but when his so Mike and Gloria, Mike had both of them decided not to get Joey baptized.
Yeah.
Because Mike didn't believe in God. And so, wrong or right, Archie takes the baby to the church and baptizes the baby himself, which again was a bold move because I think a lot of people say, well, he didn't have the right to do that. But in his heart, he felt he was doing the right thing. So these type of programs make you want to think, which is what they did. It was really game changing, and so
Well, who's to say? Not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Who's to say that other parents didn't do that?
See, you never know. What was that based upon? You just
some
never
parents
know.
have thought that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
No,
know,
you're right.
because Archie grew up, how he grew up, and how they were thinking about certain things, about religion and everything, But by him doing that, it kind of put almost like a kind of rift between Gloria and her husband.
Yeah.
But
hold that thought, and I go back to the peanut gallery real quick. Get some comments here. Hey, what's up, Bobby Stamp? So Bobby Stamp says, I would love to bring those days back. Yeah, I go along with that. Absolutely. Also, when my man will say, what's up, Walter Canson, Morning Base? Sorry I'm late. That's okay. Colored people sometimes are late and you're colored. So we'll take it. You're late. And that's how it happens. You go on CPT. So as long as you made it here, that's fine. All right. So NFL, please continue.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I don't know. It was just a time where, I don't know. It was good programming.
It was.
I mean, there's shows. I compare the shows from yesteryear to today. I'm thinking, oh no, y'all trying to do. First of all, y'all trying to do like remake shows, and that's horrible.
Well, what also comes to mind real quick: the episode when Gloria and Mike were moving to California, and when Mike says to Archie that he loved him and that he was more of a father figure to him than his own father, that was deep. After all the years of them battling of their ideology and them not liking each other, the man basically took me in, we didn't have to take me in. It was a very well-written episode. And when he hugs Archie, Archie is surprised like all of us are. And he's surprised and he's whelped with emotion. And when they leave, he sits down at the chair and starts to cry. Edith, about to bring him his beer, sees him crying, goes back in the kitchen and calls out Archie to his name so he can have time to get himself together. That was a masterclass right there. You can't. I think with a dry eye in the place, I've seen the episode over and over again. I still get weepy with that scene because just the fact that he told him he loved him and thanked him for allowing him to be in his home and everything else. I mean, that was deep. And once again, it spoke to real emotion. It really did.
I mean, because Archie dealt with a lot of stuff.
Right.
He dealt with a lot of stuff. Do you know how long they were on TV?
Oh, I could check real quick. Hold on.
Let's see. I just think that sometimes it just, it's good to have. I watch Me TV, or I forget, it's Me TV plus it's another. Me TV and another TV. Well, they show like old programming, And now I'm like, don't get back to the 50s and 60s. We ain't trying to get that far back.
Well,
but,
they started. I'm sorry. So real quick, they started in 1971 and was on for 9 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
a hell of a run, fantastic run. You can't get that run
Yeah.
nowadays. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do it nowadays. But back then, that was pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong. Even though you're watching these programs, it's amazing to me that again there was some good writing came out. Like for example, Good Times. I'm watching Good Times in real time as a kid, and the Jimmy Walker character, the whole dynamite stuff, even though it was fun, it kind of there was something not right about it. And there were episodes, say, within Good Times I liked, like the two-parter when JD gets shot because he joins the gang. I think it was the Satan Knights, and he takes the bullet for James because they were out in the street. And then James, in the second part of the episode, goes to the court, see what we're going to do with Mad Dog. That was the character being portrayed. And so
Yeah.
at the end of the episode, the mother who played Donna on Sanford and Son played the mother's episode, and they go back and forth, and she slaps him and runs away, and he goes over to James. You want to hit me too? Come on, hit me. He said, no, I don't want to hit you. I don't want nothing. So Mad Dog walks away. Florida comes in and helps James, and it's etched in my mind when James said, Florida, what kind of man am I that feels sorry for the man who shot my son?
Mhm.
And she says, the right kind. Gets me all the time. So all this great writing that we have seen episodes over the years, it's great. I still don't understand right to this day, how does Florida, who was the maid of Maud in the New Jersey area, all of a sudden is in Chicago, at Cabrini Green.
I don't know.
Right. See, that pissed me off. Like she can't be middle class because again, Henry, who became James, John Amos played that character on Maud. He was a firefighter in those episodes. So they couldn't have a middle class. No, they had to be in the ghetto. And not only in the ghetto, moved to a whole different city and state.
I don't know.
Jeez. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you appreciate the time that you have watching these programs. They were great. They, for what it was worth, they were just fantastic television.
Yeah, I think and it just kind of makes you appreciate that, I always say that, like every decade brings something different to the plate.
Right.
Brings something different. I think with the shows in the 70s, they emphasized a lot on family. And
that's true.
I don't know. It's something about relationships. You see these different memes. They say, well, who was the best TV dad?
Right.
Everything. And a lot of people don't pick James, even though they say, well, he was angry all the time. No, he was fighting for his family.
Yeah.
So it's a different type of dad. Just like in the Will Smith, The Fresh Prince. I can't think of his name right now, but he played a different type of dad. Carlton's dad played a different type of dad. He was a lawyer.
Philip Banks.
Right. Same thing with Bill Cosby, and his character Cliff.
Right.
In the 80s, he played a different dad.
Right.
They're different types of dads. But TV is still progressing to me. It's still growing in different ways. Reality shows, I still have a big question mark on them. My brother don't like them. He really don't like them at all.
Good.
And for me, I watched her. It's so funny. The very first reality show I watched was Survivor, and to this day I don't know why I became a fan of Survivor originally. It was just so wild to me that people be on an island or whatever,
right.
trying to survive in the so-called wilderness, whatever. And then the most craziest show, they do reruns of it now. I don't know why I was so obsessed on Channel 5 Fear Factor. I don't know why.
You know, I like Fear Factor. I actually like Fear Factor. Joe
I was
Rogan used to
like,
be the
he's
host of that.
supposed to do this. They don't do it for $1 million. They do it for $500 million. Like, really?
Yeah.
And like I said, that this shit should be for $1 million.
Now, they got them on the cheap.
$500 million.
They got them on
When
the
you say-
cheap. They got them on the cheap, you know, with $500,000 prize. I mean, look, my favorite
Yeah.
part was them eating like bull's testicles and bull dick and something like that, whatever else they was eating. I mean, that
I'm
was like,
like,
yeah, go on eat that with some hot sauce on it.
like, you know what? I would be like, no, thank you.
Right.
Or try to be awesome with some snakes or some bugs. I'm like, oh, hell no. Oops, sorry. No.
Oh, that was funny, man. I used to love that.
No. But they do reruns of it. They do reruns on another TV on another TV station. Do reruns of it.
Okay.
I think that was going down here when they just started doing Celebrity Fear Factor. So
Yeah.
see, it's going down now. You know, they do the celebrity. It's just not going. You know, it's not gonna work.
Look, I didn't care if it was a non-celebrity or celebrity. Long, I want to see them eat them bull testicles. That's what I wanted to see. Yeah, go on and put some Louisiana hot sauce on that and go for broke. I mean, that's what I wanted to see. So the eating thing, I love that part. That was great. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, see, when I used to watch Dance with the Stars, when Tom Bergeron was the host, I used to love that show. But as I said before, certain worlds should not cross. So when No Leaks appeared on Dance with the Stars, she has no talent of dancing whatsoever. She was a former stripper, and not everything is dropping like it's hot, which at one point she was doing. And certain people just shouldn't be on the show. Huh?
I didn't know. I forgot that Kim Kardashian was on it, but I didn't know who she really was.
Right. See,
no, but she didn't last too long either.
No, they can't dance for shit. I mean, they got two left feet.
A lot of people can't. You know, I think I saw the season finale. You know, they used to have just 3 couples. This time they had 5 couples.
Mm.
You know, and the couple that won, they did dance really good. So it wasn't like, you know, but you know, because my girlfriend asked, "Do you think that show is sick?" I said, "I think sometimes it is." You know.
Yeah, I go along with that.
They have certain ones who they want to win.
Yeah.
You know, because Mel B was on there and she was a great dancer.
Now, who was this?
But they didn't. Mel B, she was on there.
Okay, yeah, she sure was.
Mel B, she danced her butt off, but they didn't have her win, you know. And they had Emmett was the first football guy. I think won.
Yeah, former running back for the Dallas Cowboys,
right.
Emmett Smith.
He was really good, you know. But they had like a whole, you know, it's like they have certain ones. I don't want to say popularity contest.
Of course.
You know, they always try to say, "Is your vote? Is your vote?" I'm like, yeah, okay.
You know, it was a couple of things I loved about the show. When I first fell in love with the show, this is when Master P was a contestant, and Master P stomped around it like Herman Munster from the Munsters. He didn't have he couldn't dance to save his ass. So I remember the late great Len Goodman, who used to be the senior judge. It was like, "Mr. P, we've done all we can to help you. We let you wear your gym shoes, your athletic shoes, outside the dancing shoes, and you still have not improved. It is time for you and this show to part." And after he said that, he was eliminated the next day. So Len, God rest his soul, was my favorite judge. And I used to love Len because Len would just tell like it is. And straightforward, no nonsense, no straight, no chaser. And I, as a fan, appreciated that. And so I've always had this theory that with certain of these contestants that moved the way they did and gyrate, I think they were having sex. Now, this is just me, you know, spitballing here, because no one moves like that unless you know, doing the mattress mambo. I think some of the contestants were boning.
And they were saying about certain couples that, you know, like they literally had to tell people, like, we're not doing this and we're not doing that and
Oh,
everything,
they
you
were
know.
doing it. They were doing it. They were doing it long to the break of dawn.
I don't know. It's just certain people had, like they had that chemistry. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, chemistry, all right. You fucking.
Was Amber on there?
Was who?
I'm trying. Amber. She's the one. She's the one that was. She used to go with Kanye. Before Kim Kardashian.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. I forgot her. I think she was on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was on there because her and her partner. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just,
hey,
you just contemplate. Inquiring minds want to know. It's
right. A likely story. Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a little bit. They're doing a little bit too much.
Right. It's just like, okay, like, I don't know.
Well, good for them. I'm all for free love. I mean, if you love to do with that person, it's none of my business. Go right ahead. Make sure your door is locked. But go ahead and do what you gotta do. And if it help, it may improve your dancing. Hey, you do what you gotta do to win.
It's gonna improve something, but certain dances, it's wild because I remember watching ballroom dancing with Mom.
Yeah.
On Channel 11, and
I remember. Right, I remember that now. You're right, on PBS
with Julia Krause, the dancer and everything. She used to host a show with another gentleman who was also into ballroom dancing, and they would have these couples and stuff and everything, and
right.
They would have the samba and the salsa and all that and everything, and the cha-cha-cha. So it's just like, if you're not familiar with all that, everything, you just think of it, okay, but by watching, I think by having that program on Channel 11, and, shout out to PBS. I don't care what people say. I love PBS.
Yes, same here.
I began to understand about all these different dances. And I had certain favorite couples and stuff. And what I liked about Juliet when she was hosting the show, she would give some information about the cha-cha-cha. Her and her host would give some history about samba and ballroom dancing, how it first started out and everything. So you got a little history lesson too. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm on the clock. I got to go in 5, but thank you so much for calling in. And once again, thank you and your brother Mark for making us gain weight by just reading the menu when you get a chance to. I mean, thank you so much. And thank Mark for me as well.
I certainly will. You have an awesome day.
You have the same, Jennifer. Take care. Thanks a lot.
All right, you too.
You too. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Jennifer Ingram, who is the chef. Her and her brother Mark Ingram are the official chefs of BaseLine. That provides us with great breakfast menus to read and gain weight by. Like I said, we've got 5 minutes left in the program. Cartoon of the Week, The Jackson 5, was a Saturday morning cartoon series that aired on ABC from September 11, 1971 to October 14, 1972. Produced by Rankin Bass and Motown Productions. It's a fictionalized portrayal of the career of the Motown recording group, then called the Jackson 5. The series was rebroadcast in syndication in 1984 to 85 during a period when Michael Jackson was riding a major wave of popularity as a solo host, a solo artist as well. It also briefly re-aired in 1999 on TV Land as part of its Super Retrovision Saturdays lineup. The series was animated mainly in London at the studios of Hallis and Bachelor, and sometimes animated in Barcelona, Spain, and also at Topcraft in Tokyo, Japan. And so what I liked about during this time was, to me, as a kid, loved the Jackson 5, obviously. Michael Jackson was really ahead of his time as a singer, and the group was just great. But then I noticed the comparisons at the time to the Osmonds, Donny Osmond, his brothers. And so even to the point where not only in animation on ABC, remember the Donnie Marie show would come on ABC. Then at one point they had the Jackson's Variety Family Hour, something like that, on CBS, and he's come on at the same time locally here at 7 p.m. So even though the Jacksons program was short lived and it didn't really do well in the ratings, they got rid of it, and Diane Marie went on and on. It was a nice little rivalry that I used to watch. And so, Donnie Marie had that, I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll. I'm a little Motown in my. I'm like, dude, you couldn't, nothing Motown about your ass. I love Donnie Osmond, I really do. And I don't know, it was probably given to him to sing because there's nothing Motown about Donnie Osmond. Even Donnie Osmond said nothing Motown about his ass. But of course, they're trying to get that audience. Now, at the time when Michael Jackson was black and his afro, he used to do this thing called the robot. At the time, this is pre moonwalking. He did the robot, and now like signature move, like say for what they did, the song they used to do, Dancing Machine, and there was this break where he would do the robot. I'm watching Donnie and Marie at this time, and Donnie does this completely Amish white version of the robot, will make you go vomit. Oh my God. It hurt. Hey, Pam, Jack, I gotta invite you back on to talk about these type of programs. This is right up her alley. Loves television. Weren't they summer replacement shows? I think you're right. And then it just caught on, and it made it a consistent program after the summer replacements. And you're right. They used to have summer replacement shows, and then the regular show, whatever it was, came back in the fall. So yeah, they used to have that again, that rivalry back and forth. And I love the Jackson 5 cartoon shows. I had the Dolls of Diane Marie show too. I'm a little bit Memphis and Nashville, a little bit Motown in my soul. That line sucked. Okay, I could give it to Marie, but not Donnie. Donnie couldn't. It's not like Donnie had an afro or something like that could probably pass for light skin. Nothing like that. Like you said, even Lola Falana and Clifton Davis had a show. So I had to have you back on because a lot of stuff I actually had forgotten about. Let's see. So once again, Pam Tice, shows like Donnie Marie, the Jackson 5, and Clifton Davis had shows in the summer. Okay, see, again, I got to invite you back on Pam Jackson, absolutely. Let's see, Waldo Types, he likes the Partridge Family, and that's good. But going back to this whole thing with I'm a little bit of Memphis and Nashville. Once again, Marie, you're right. That passes. I can give you that. But your brother's on some bullshit. This whole thing about Motown in my soul. Get out of here. And I don't blame Donnie. Donnie's like he's a good egg. I don't blame him. But what he had to say was completely out of pocket. Motown in my soul. Are you kidding me, brother? Like I said before, it's not like Donnie. Look, it's not, again, if he had an afro and could pass like light skin, you might give him a little bit. But no, that was not happening, Captain. Come on, man. Let's keep it real. What do you say, Rachel? Diane did a Pat Boone. Well, remember that scene from the 5 Heartbeats? And they liked the song. They're trying to pitch it to various record companies, and the guy was like, "Send in the 5 Horsemen." It was like, "Yeah, we got soul, ain't got no money." Ain't got no fancy car. There's nothing in this world that I possess to equal your love and your tenderness. I think because the Jackson show was way more popular, they had to try and appease that audience with that line. You know, you're right, Pam. Even as a kid, I'm like, yeah, y'all stretching on that one, Doc. Things are done for a reason. That was put in there right to try to appease that audience that happened to follow the Jacksons, who follow Michael Jackson doing the robot. But when Donny Osmond tried to do the robot, it just seemed to, first of all, it looked like he was having a heart attack and spasm. And to me, if you can't do it, don't do it. But we're not talking about that here. We're talking about trying again, as Pam Jackson said, about trying to appease a certain audience. So it just, to me, like, you're wasting your time, Doc. You don't even have the talent, skill, or the correct instructional fortitude to pull this off. Panties, I hate it too. Yeah, jeez. Exactly. That's just my point. That's all. But it was what it was. We either we watch it or not. So I would tune back and forth from the Jacksons to Diane Marie. Friday nights at 7 o'clock. CBS The Jacksons, ABC, Diane Marie. I think when you're trying to force someone to be soulful, it goes over like a fart in church. Remember the end song that Donnie Marie would do? Let God keep you in his tender care till he brings us together again. Good night, motherfuckers. I mean, well, and they take off and stuff. So it just seemed as though that they would. It just seemed a forceful soul. Like I could be wrong. A forced soul, and if you don't have it, you know, my man said, "Yeah, you know, I got soul." If you don't have it, then you don't have it. Doesn't make you a bad person. You just don't have it. That's all. Yeah, forced soul. That's a hell of a show too. Welcome back to Forced Soul. Not Soul Train, Forced Soul. And these various people on deck to perform who try to forcefully sound soulful. That could be a new game show too for the day. Hell, have some judges, people out there in the audience, television land can chime in as well. Who has the most forced soul? Ooh, we help. All right, so that's it. Once again, thank you so much again for being a part of the excursion. In the future, for those of you out there who want to YouTube and you're YouTubing, make sure you click below and subscribe to the official Chris Based YouTube channel. Let's see what else we got before we take off. Pam Tice, that was for the Southern audience. You know those affiliates would drop those shows in a heartbeat. They did it to Nat King Cole. Unfortunately, they did. You're right about that. And once again, I got to have you back on to have this history of TV stuff, because Nat King Cole, when I went back and watched a documentary and then some of the shows will pop up on YouTube, had a fantastic show. But because, you know, you're black, obviously, and it didn't play in, once again, like she said, in Southern markets and affiliates. And then you have white guests that will come on there, and he couldn't give, say, for example, a white guest a hug, or you couldn't even touch them, you know, like they're going to melt or something. And again, that could work on your psyche. That's why people have come before us. I give them all the credit in the world, because that's not easy to go through. Pam types, check out Rare Gems on YouTube, also Real Back. Thank you. Yeah, check them out. I'll check out myself. when you look at the body of work that the person has, what was the antithesis for the body of work to become a body of work in the first place? Again, thank you so much for being part of the excursion. Again, we'll do this again next Saturday, and that's at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central Time, 5 a.m. If you happen to be up, calling hogs is still cool. Either one will take for BaseLine. You get a chance to do that. CBI returns next week, and that'll be December 13th on a Wednesday, and that'll be at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. So that returns next Wednesday. And once again, with the Wednesday show, what I call the pop-up version, because once again I have guests on that show up and then want to fake out at the last minute. So I figured, okay, I ain't got time to be playing games with people. So when I get the show lined up, show up. If not, then there's no show. And that's why I got to, unfortunately, because I have these guests that don't want to. I don't know. I know some of it's my part because I might get back to them late, and I explain the reason why I get back to them late, but I still want to have them on the show. So it's up to them when we come back on or not. But then there's the ones who say I'm going to be on and then don't come on. And then that I can never understand at all because I think you're wasting my time and yours. It's a whole different conversation, but that happens. So, hey, I do the show when I can and do the show when I can't. So we'll leave it at that for now. Hopefully make some changes when the new year comes up and get more of a consistent guest lineup like I had before. But it's a snag right now. It is what it is, as they say. And so hopefully that snag will be taken care of next year. And so there we go. I want you to have a fantastic weekend. I want you to do something fun. If you go out to do something that's cool, if not, enjoy yourself. Really, make it nice. Make it beautiful. And so until we meet again, continue to be safe, continue to be sound, continue to be healthy, and most importantly, above anything else, continue to be loved. Long live the peace, long live the funk, more power to you, and be kind.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crown they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can be the black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in BaseLine. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.